Hey, everybody. All right. I'm Dan Chin with Dan Chin Homes and Alex Lozano, one of our top agents on the team. We're excited to help you guys see what it takes to be a $100,000 real estate agent and then some tonight with this webinar. So we're going to get started off with some introductions here. And we do have a slideshow we're going to get going. So just to give you a little background, I think it hit start there, yeah. All right, awesome. So, again, my name's Dan Chin. I got into real estate about 11 years ago and saw that being a single agent will drive you insane because you're trying to do everything as one person. Finances, set up showings, do the showings, write the offers, do the marketing, all that stuff. And I was like, how can I do this role and also still have some flexibility in my life and like have some leverage, right? And so I found the team model. Tony, we should probably check that people can hear us. Can we pull up the chat and just make sure that people can see us or hear us too? Can someone like type if you can hear us and everything sounds good? All right. And so the team model is really cool because you find people that have different strengths that fill the holes of your weaknesses, right? And it helps you accelerate your career and get to that $100,000 faster. So we have Alex here, and he's going to talk about, his journey and his path to becoming a 100,000 plus agent. A little bit about us. Show you, what we're talking about is valid and you can trust what we're saying because there's a lot of people out there that we're the best at everything, do what we do. So we are a really strong team. We've sold a lot of homes and we've only been doing this for 11 years. So with just 10 agents, we ranked third in the state of Wisconsin and 106 nationally last year for large teams. And that was by the Real Trends ranking. So it's a very reputable ranking out there. I've coached first-year agents to sell more than 50 homes in a year and net over or nearly 200,000 in their first year. So the 100,000, if you follow the processes and the procedures and the best practices that you're being taught, like 100,000 should be no problem. All right, you wanna?
Yeah. How are you, everybody? My name is Alex Lozano. And I started with Dan about over 3 years ago. It was in the middle of 2021 when I started. A little bit of my background. I sold cars prior to joining Dan Chin Homes, and prior to that, I certainly my biggest thing was time. Right. So when I was selling cars, I was making decent money, no complaint there. But the biggest thing was the time. I wanted to spend time with my wife, with my daughters, and I didn't have that. So that was one of the reasons why I was always thinking, okay, real estate was back in my mind always. I actually got my license back in I think it was like 2011 when I got it, 2010. I never did anything with I actually started as a part-time agent, just like thinking, hey, that's probably it's going to be the best route. And I quickly realized that being a part-time agent, that doesn't do it. So I started getting, full-time jobs and having kind of like the license basically just as a referring businesses to other agents. In 2021, I finally made the decision that that's what I wanted to do, help make an impact in other people. And that's when I decided to move with a team, which that I knew that was the way to make not only my happiness with me and my family, but also financially speaking, wanted to also make a bigger impact compared to what I was doing.
Yeah, you actually, the first time we met, I was teaching like a course on how to prospect for new clients. And then afterwards, we talked a little bit, and you talked about how you were in car sales and you really wanted to do this full time because you weren't really enjoying the car sales part and that sort of thing. But that was like years before you joined the team, right?
Right. That's true. Yeah. So yeah, I remember when I met Dan was with a different brokerage back then, and and back then I was like, I never got that support from another brokerage. I wanted to like learn and have the support, but it was really hard. It was, to be honest, it was super hard to get that support and get going. So then I just decided to, I'm gonna sell cars. So I sold cars for 6 years, and finally I got connected with Dan again, and he gave me the opportunity to join his team. And I remember the first year, like the first couple of months was essentially learning the process, learning what it takes to, not only make over 100,000, but also follow the best practices. That's all it is.
I'm going to ask you some questions about that too, for people to get your perspective of what that was like.
Yeah.
But I see, I didn't get the number in this. We were working on this PowerPoint right up until the last minute. I don't have your total career sales, but the majority of them are with the team. Oh, wait, can you go back, please? So last year, he had over 10 million in volume sold, so 35 closings, netting 128,000 for him. And this year, we're only halfway through the year, and he's already at 7 million and had 21 closings and 90,000 net so far. So half the year in, he's almost at the 100,000 already, which is pretty wild. And he's been on the team for 3 years. Your third 3-year anniversary.
That's right.
At least. All right.
Yeah, 3 years already. Hard to believe. But it's not rocket science. The harder you make it, the harder it is. Sometimes you just need to be coachable, and don't reinvent the wheel because it already been invented.
Yeah,
right?
We're going to talk specifically about those things too. Before we get into that, though, why don't we do that poll, Tony? So you guys, we have a poll. How much do you think on average a first-year agent makes? I think you have to hit the publish. Oh, and then hit that display results. Sorry, we're like just figuring out this software. It's pretty cool once you figure it out. Okay, so everyone enter in your things. We'll let you guys do that while we keep talking. So these are actually his numbers from last year. And you were just starting to get into the listings last year. But you can see his 35 transactions closed. So this is a software platform that we have called CISO, and it really helps you figure out where you need to focus on things. It links directly to our CRM, our database. So you can click on the 109 for buyer appointments met and go right to all the buyers you've met with, that sort of thing. This guy signs more people than he meets with, though. He's unbelievable. A lot of trust. So he's a great guy, high integrity. And so people know they can trust him. He also has a secret power, which is he speaks Spanish. And there's so many people out there that only speak Spanish that don't know who to go to when it comes to buying a home. So he's been really, fortunate to have all these people he knows that trust him and come to him. And he has more clients than he can handle at this point. But you can see last year how, the 109 buyer appointments met led to 30 closings. And 24 listing appointments met led to 5 closings. All right, so we can end the poll. So the majority of the people thought $30,000 for a first-year agent. Okay, so we can go to what the answer is. Oh, it's in here somewhere. Oh, where'd it go? Oh, there it is. Okay, $15,000. Fun fact, my first year, I made zero. I made zero my first year. My second year, I made 24,000. Because when you're getting going to, you're like reinvesting into the business, right. And it's
a lot of money.
It's a grind, that's for sure. The 89%, so we're gonna do this poll. What percentage of agents do you think fail? You guys better get this right. What percentage of new agents fail? Yeah. Well, your first year, how much did you make when you're on your own, like independent?
So I remember like the first year was kind of like because I started like in June, right? June, July, and that half of the year, I think it was somewhere around 50, I think. But again, it was like I was a brand new agent. Even though I had my license from before, I didn't know anything. I told them like, hey, I don't know anything. I've been essentially working in other jobs, and this is my first time going full time, and I don't know anything. So that I think it was somewhere around that for 6 months.
So good job. Everyone can stay on the webinar because you all got the answer right. Otherwise, we'd have to boot you if you got that wrong after we already gave it away. 89% of agents fail. Can you believe that? I was shocked when I heard that. I knew it. I heard the fact that every year there's 30% turnover. And I look at the numbers in the MLS, just like we do all the time, and see like,
how many?
Well, up at the top, it's all the same people. And then there's a million people, thousands of people selling 1 or 2 homes a year. And after the broker splits and everything else, that doesn't come to enough to really earn a living, does it?
Yeah. It's unreal.
So the slides, where were we with the slides? Tony, you're doing an awesome job with this, by the way.
Thank you so much, Tony.
Oh yeah, so real estate school. So this is a huge misconception, right? Like you think, oh, I'm gonna go get my license, I'm gonna go to real estate school, and then I'll know everything I need to know to sell a house, right?
Easy peasy.
Right. Yeah. So tell me, what was your experience like getting your license and going to real estate school?
Well, I remember like when I got my license, like everything was awesome. Like, I'm an attorney back in Colombia. And so it was, like for me, like schooling and learning was, like that was in me. Like I love learning, and everything was so nice. Like the let's say like the theoric part of the business, right? Like getting the license and all that. Once you go into the real life, that's another thing. So when I went to, like learn how to sell a house, learn how to, even like write a contract, like it was shocking. Like I didn't know anything.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. I didn't even know what to say.
Well, and that's all they actually teach you in real estate school is how to fill out the contract.
Right.
As licensees, we have a limited ability to practice law, which means we can fill in the blanks in the state forms that are written by state attorneys. We can start that next poll. So this one we're not going to give away. So second year agent, or actually second and third year agents, what is the average that a second and third year agent makes? Yeah, I was shocked actually. Personally, because I was like, okay, I can sort of fumble my way through the forms. I definitely am going to need some help when I go to write a contract. But now, who am I going to work with? And I think that's a big misconception is that new agents think, well, I have a lot of friends, I have family, people that are going to trust me right off the bat. But that's not the case typically, right? Because think about it. If you were to buy a house, you're going to be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars. Are you going to trust your buddy who's never sold a house before? Probably not. And I remember another agent that was in the same office building as me, Josh Lavick, said to me at one point, he said, hey, just so you know, I see you're grinding, man. I'm going to let you down easy up front. Like your friends and family, they're not going to work with you up front because it's a big decision. It's a huge responsibility and you need to prove yourself first. I was so glad he said that to me because I didn't realize that. I thought people would just come to me, they would see our great marketing, because that's my background, advertising and marketing. Right. They would just work with me. I spun my wheels for 6 months. 6 months. It was crazy. So we can end the poll. So looks like about half of you got it right. So it is 38,000. So it's not the hundreds of thousands of dollars you're seeing on selling Sunset and everything. This is the average across the country. So like I said, my second year was 24,000. And then after that, I really figured it out when I started the team model and figured out leverage. And our first hire was Becca from an administrative perspective. And I learned okay, I'm good at selling. I'm good at meeting with people, doing the contracts and negotiating, but all the finance stuff, all of the stuff with the broker and submitting the paperwork and all the tasky stuff was not my forte.
Right.
And it really wore me down and took away my energy. So it was really helpful to figure that out and see the team model.
And that's the thing, like, once you go into real estate as a solo agent, you realize how many things you didn't consider, like what Dan was saying, like all the aspects of the paperwork that goes involved once you have an accepted offer. So that's another thing, like you have to take in consideration, because it's not only time consuming, because you have to pay attention to everything that is going to happen once you have the accepted offer and not miss any deadlines. But also it's keeping on track of all that. So if you miss one of those deadlines, you're in big trouble.
Yeah.
So
I didn't mess it up for your client.
Yeah,
you miss that deadline, your client now could be out tens of thousands of dollars for, like, say it's inspection. I've heard of many agents buying new air conditioners for their clients. And this is when you're like not making any money either. It's like really tough.
Right.
Tony, can we check the chat for a second? So you guys, like, throughout this, please post your questions and we'll check this. Oh, Nicole, awesome. Yeah, I know. My first offer I wrote took me 4.5 hours, and I was lucky I had a really nice mentor help me through that.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly Doyle, she's still in the business. I just saw her. She just moved to McFarland. It was pretty awesome.
Hi, Nicole.
Yeah. So yeah, post your questions and we'll keep checking back to this. So I guess, what we talked a little bit about the difference of being a solo agent versus being on a team. Some of the other benefits of a team are, like, you have marketing support, right? Like Tony, who's back there running this show, she does all of the advertising for all of our listings. She is an expert. She has a degree in graphic design. She's an expert in digital marketing. Like, how are you supposed to be like an agent and an expert in digital marketing and doing that and then going out and doing the appointments and all that all as one person, right?
I don't know about you, but it takes a long time. Like when I'm posting something in social media, it takes like at least, for me, it takes me like an hour.
We're getting old, buddy.
Getting old. Tony does that. And I love when she put her expertise and, creates a beautiful post and, in social media and, and all that is taken care of, here in our client care team. Like, Tony, Brittany, they do an amazing job. Megan, which that's one of the things I value the most when it comes to a team. And when you are a solo agent, you have to consider all that. You're not only running a solo show, but you also are going to be taking care of all that too.
Yeah. And then also, like, you're surrounded with experienced agents.
Right.
I know a lot of people come to you for questions, how do I handle this situation? And luckily you've been through so many deals that and you've faced a lot of those issues they have, right?
Yeah, that's one of the things I love the most when I started. I had experienced agents that have been doing this for many, many years. And I was able to, get in touch with them when I had a serious situation going on that I didn't know how to handle it. So I went to Dan, I went to Wei, I went to Eric. The support was there, and I loved that. It was fantastic having that support there.
It's definitely a strong community, and it's like-minded people. Because, like, when you have a team, like, the team's only attracting people of the same mindset, right? So for us, we like hustlers come to us. Mm-hmm. They want to work hard. They're lifelong learners, always want to learn and grow. They love collaborating and helping other people and learning new things all the time and growing and doing the best they can for their clients, right? So what would you say is the type of an agent that's better to be on their own, a solo agent? Any thoughts on that?
I mean, I think for an agent that probably is thinking about, hey, I'm kind of like I like to learn things my own way. I'm not that coachable, but also like want to potentially only go part-time. Might not be like the, fully full-time where I'm going to go full in. Yeah.
Maybe they have other sources of income.
Another job, I have another full-time job. I'm just going to be doing this as a, maybe getting, there's an additional income that might not be the full income to support you and your family.
Or like today, we had a gentleman. He's been in the business for several years. He's at another brokerage, and he's just not learning and growing because all the people in his brokerage are all retired, and they only sell like 1 or 2 homes a year. Yeah. They're not in the office or out golfing a lot. Right. And he's like, I want to do well. I want to grow. I have all these dreams and aspirations, but I'm not in the right environment. So he came here today. He was like, this is what I need. Right.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Definitely eager to learn. Yep. Eager to, be surrounded by great people that are producing, are in the field every day. And like Dan was saying, like, we're hustlers. That's what we do. If we cannot make it happen, we will find a way or guide our clients to get there. But we definitely are every day hustling.
Yeah. Okay, we can go to the next slide. So difference between a team and a brokerage, because I know this is very confusing to people. So a brokerage is like the legal entity, right? And most of them will sign anyone up, because whether or not you make money, it doesn't matter. Like if you sell homes, because they actually charge you like monthly fees, not only just to be a part of the brokerage, but they charge you for technology and all that stuff. Versus like when you're on a team, the team actually pays for all that for you. So you have no monthly fees. Right. You still have your licensing dues and little things like that, but you're not paying for a website. You're not paying for, our monthly CRM. Fees as CRM. We have the best CRM in the business, Follow Up Boss. And I remember when I first started, I wanted to get it because I knew it was the best. And Follow Up Boss told me, no, you're not ready for us yet. I was like, oh, well, that's a buzzkill. But as a team, like Danchin Homes, our expenses for the systems are $100,000 a month. So that's wild. That's a lot of money. Like a new agent, solo agent can't do that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's surprising because sometimes in networking events, I hear, "Oh, I don't have a CRM." Like it's hard to believe that agents don't have a CRM. How do you manage to follow up with clients? How do you keep?
How do you stay on task? How do you get the communication going? So I don't know if people can see it, but back there it says Real. Real is the legal entity, the broker that us agents on Danchin Homes are under. And they also provide added support and other revenue streams for us as agents because, it's tough being an agent, right? Okay, so how do you build a product? Oh, okay. This slide, so the emojis showed up weird on there, didn't they? So 7% of the agents actually do 93% of the business. Isn't that wild? I mean, a lot of people have heard of the 80-20 rule. That's 7% do 93% of the business. You can see it when you scroll through the MLS. And then closings too, it's like it's the same people. It's the people that are hustling or have the support that they need in order to help more people.
7%.
So how do agents get paid? That's the thing, is like you're brand new. Right? You have all these fees if you're an independent agent with a broker.
Right.
But when do you get paid, Alex?
The day of the closing.
Yeah. So you have to find a client first who's willing to work with you and then show them houses. Eventually they get an accepted offer. And people have probably heard about what a competitive situation is out there for buyers. Well, it's competitive for the agents writing the offers. I feel bad for agents that don't have the resources of like our team when they're submitting on our listings, because I just know when I get that offer, I'm just like, oh, there's no way this buyer's going to win. And there's someone's hopes and dreams behind that. It's really too bad. And I just want to help them,
Yeah, and in many instances, you might be working with this client and submitting offers, and you are not getting any accepted offers, right? And think about this, like, in this busy market right now, it takes a lot to actually win an offer because it's a lot of competition and all that. So the moment you are spending all this time showing houses and writing offers, and think about it, you're spending time and money, you're not getting paid. You get paid once you have that closing day. That day is when you get paid. So in the meantime, it's a lot of upfront costs that you are putting out of your pocket, right? And it can be a lot of money.
Right. But now new agents that join our team, right? Within 100 days, or right up front, they're given 100 leads, right up front, and they have access to our lead pond of 130,000 people. So like it's all there, and that costs thousands of dollars to generate all of that, right? And we're giving them 100 awesome leads. People are engaging with our website and different listings that they can call and say, hey, I can show you something about that house that you won't find online. Would you like to go see it? So that's a huge benefit, right?
How much roughly it's like a lead, like a
one lead?
One lead, yeah.
So for us, because we've built such a strong lead aggregation system, it's only about $45 per lead. But like if you were to go sign up with Zillow as a new agent, they're charging like $400 to $700 per lead. The worst part is they're sending that lead to 3 different agents, and whoever calls them first gets it, but all 3 of them pay it. So all 3 of them are paying that several $100s for that lead, even though only one person's actually going to end up maybe working with them. You have to convince the person to even trust you.
Right.
To
get that appointment.
Yeah. Whereas like on a team, the team is generating those leads and handing out those leads. And on our team, brand new agents are given 100 leads right in the first week. With the systems we have, agents should be setting appointments within the first couple of weeks and have a closing at least within the first 3 months.
Right. First 90 days.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Another benefit too is like you can market the success of the team as your own. So when you're meeting with clients, like we just figured out today that this team has listed more homes than any other team in South Central Wisconsin year to date. So when Alex goes to sit as next listing consult, you can say, we list more people trust us to list their home than any other team in South Central Wisconsin. So that's pretty powerful right there.
And people, can see the data too. The data is there to prove it.
Yeah. Versus like you're an independent agent, it's like, and they say, well, how many homes have you sold? Well, I haven't.
Right.
Are they going to trust you with one of their largest assets? Probably not. So how do you become part of that 7%? How do you do that? Really, it's about building a predictable business, right?
Right.
I think like I remember when you first joined, this was like our biggest focus area. So when agents join our team, I coach them, and we help each agent with an individual coaching plan. We meet monthly. Sometimes we meet more than that, and they have specific goals to meet between those times and activities in order to improve certain things. For Alex, I remember you said, well, I operate on Latino time, which is just kind of like I'm laid back, I go with the flow type of thing. And I said, well, that's not going to work well for your family, is it?
Right.
And I remember like that was a huge shift for you and your family and your relationship with your wife for the better. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So for me, it was huge to have separation in terms of my family time versus the business time. And that was something that I wasn't that good at. I was actually combining quite a bit. And to me, I value a lot my time with my family. So one of the things that I quickly realized is to do time blocking. And that time blocking helped me tremendously because having my wife, having access to my calendar and being able to share with her, okay, at this time, I'm going to be with a client. And then at the same time, she was blocking time that was important for the family, like let's say a soccer game with my.
We could probably share like a screenshot of, like I could share my screen with our calendars so people could see that. What do you think, Tony?
So while you do that, I continued talking about. So that was huge, and then and doing that, I quickly learned and start applying those concepts of time blocking. And nowadays, I mean, I think that's been one of the biggest part of having that predictable business, because doing that time blocking helped me to focus when I'm working, be there, but when my family, I'm there. So I'm not, going off of the balance, but also keeping, because big part of this business is to stay focused, stay, putting You focus where it needs to be when you need to be there.
And this is a great example. So your calendar becomes like your task list, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, this is the time I'm going to focus on this. That's how much time I should have for that.
Mm-hmm.
So like for you, and this is super important, is not only do you need to be working on your business, but you need to be feeding your business, right? Otherwise it's like up and down, right? And you want steady income, right?
Mm-hmm.
So every day you're not only working in your business, but you're working on your business and prospecting for new clients. So you can see he has the 8:30 to 10 a.m. block here, prospecting and calling leads and that sort of thing. And you were here all afternoon. I know you were working on client stuff and things like that. But you can see, and then you blocked for the important things too, like the Columbia game tonight, right?
Columbia plays tonight. That's an important game.
Yep. Awesome. So I'll stop that. Okay, there. And then we can go back to the slideshow. I'll let you do it. Oh, there. Yeah. And then you said start. Yep. So that's one of the ways that you certainly build a predictable business, right? I'm just going to get back to my agenda over here.
Then can you put the cursor
Yep. So one of the best times to be focusing on those things like prospecting are right in the morning, 8 to 10. And then follow-up is huge, right? So having a good CRM where you know when to follow up with certain people and the tasks you have.
One thing about that, like the CRM that we use is called Follow Up Boss. One of them we use too. I love it. It helps me to keep in track of my follow-up. So when the next time let's say I call a client today and they didn't answer for any reason, I left a voice message and a text message or an email, I can go back maybe a couple of days later and see the activity that I was able to accomplish from the previous time. I can read the notes, I can see where I left things, and I can continue with that conversation. So when I talk to my client, it's then continue conversation. It's not like, oh, what did we talk about the last time? No, everything is there. Everything is in that follow-up system that we use.
Yeah.
Follow-ups.
So it's kind of like it's like a hack in a way. It's like speeding everything up for you, right? Like you're instantly given leads. Yeah. You have these CRMs. I mean, we have more than one CRM. We have another one where it has AI built into it, and it acts like you. If one of your leads is looking at a house a couple of times, it's going to text and be like, hey, this is a super popular listing. When do you want to go see it? And you don't even know what's happening. It's working in the background for you, setting appointments for you.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. That bug, it literally is using all the technology for artificial intelligence in your benefit. So even when you are busy helping another client or something, that bug is actually helping you to create your next appointment. And even with the data that is using, it's also helping to even send houses or potential listings, right? That the client might be interested on. So those two CRMs are great, and it helps you to continue feeding your pipeline as well.
Yeah, and so something else that's like a huge dichotomy here is like you think about it like new agent. If you're solo, like you're like, where does my next appointment even come from? What do I even do in that appointment? So you're given all the training, et cetera. But then also, most teams don't even have this, but we have an amazing inside sales agent on our team. And his full-time job is to call all of the leads that are coming in and convert them into appointments for you. So he's putting appointments on our agents' calendars. So they're just like, here it is. Here's an appointment. This person wants to buy a house, and here's all of their background and why they want to buy it and what's important to them. And you show up and do your thing.
When the first time I met, his name is Matthew, by the way. The first time when I even heard about the concept of inside sales agent, I was like, what is that? You know, I never saw like a team having an inside sales agent. And the fact that he actually set up the appointment for you, it is huge, because think about like you're not only feeding your pipeline from the activity that you do daily, but also you have this inside agent who is setting the appointment for you.
Yeah.
So
you're given the leads, you're
right.
taught how to convert them, you're taught how to have the appointments and convert them to closings, how to do the showings, the contracts, all of that. Then you also have someone putting appointments on your calendar.
Yeah.
You can see how this speeds things up for you, and you're not even, paying for those things. It's pretty wild. Otherwise, it's pretty challenging for new agents to figure that out. So you learn a lot quickly through that support, and we have a great mentor program too. So new agents to our team, their first 5 transactions, they're paired with a very experienced agent, our 2 top producers who've done hundreds and hundreds of deals to make sure that everything is perfect in your contract before you send it to your client for review, even to sign. And they coach you through all that and help you to be more competitive with your offers. And it's a pretty cool program that we have with that.
Yeah, the mentorship is huge. Having been part of that, especially in that first 5 transactions, it's just amazing. Because again, it's a lot of things that you're gonna go through in the forms, in the contracts, in the offers. We're talking about sometimes even more than 30 pages that you have to go through in an offer, right? And having someone who is not only doing a double check of that offer that you're doing, but also giving you advice and guidance, like how to make that offer probably more appealing to the eye of the seller, where eventually you will win that offer. That support will change your career completely, because you're setting yourself not only for success, but setting yourself in the right foot from the beginning, from the start, rather than figure things out later, when that's when bad habits kind of start, right? When you start doing things, because somebody taught me that, I continue doing that way, and that's the way I continue doing it. I never change it, right? And that's sometimes when you see agents who are having such a hard time to succeed in this business because they were taught maybe not in the right way, or maybe they learn from just by doing it, just by learning.
Yeah. Whereas here, I love these pictures. So that the one in the middle of me with doing the selfie, my heart was so full because there was just this amazing collaboration going on. And these are with like the top agents in the MLS. So like the guy on the top left, that's Eric. He's our top producer right now. This guy is making hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, helping countless people. And most of his business now, so when it started, it was all from the leads. A lot of his clients are actually coming from repeat business because they had a good experience from that customer service training from Meg, top right, who's amazing with that, right? I'm like the go-to anything customer service wise. So clients have a good experience, repeat business, which with Danchin Homes, our number one source of new clients is actually not these brand new leads. It's actually past client repeat business and referrals. So you're part of a brand where people are referring their friends, family, coworkers to you, even though there wasn't much of a connection other than they heard of someone else that had a great experience, which is really huge.
Right.
And then also in the bottom right, you can see Jackson, who's like in year 2 or 3, Micah, who's in year 1, and then Eric, who's in year 5, and one of the top agents in the entire MLS. Right there, working right next to each other, so you can hear them, have what their calls, learn what they're doing.
Yeah, the calls, that's huge. Just by listening, just by there at the office and listening the phone calls, you learn a lot.
Yeah.
You learn how to handle objections. You learn how to, have a nice and flowing conversation with somebody that you have never talked to on the phone. But sometimes just having that nice person right next to you, you're learning.
Yeah, learning exactly what to say. Yeah. And then there's also a picture of John Warren, who's I think he's the number 1 lender in the state right now.
Yeah.
Something like that. So these people who are top of their industry are attracted to the team and want to come and educate the agents on new and upcoming things. I know Richie. So Richie from Provisor, he's one of our preferred providers. He comes in the office all the time. He just told me the other day he's going to come to a team meeting. He learned about something new that's happening with appraisals that I haven't heard anything about it out there. But he's going to connect with Megan at our next team meeting. He's going to present on that. We're going to know about it before any of the other agents. It's pretty wild. It's a huge benefit for sure.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we share the knowledge. I mean, that's nothing is like, oh, I'm gonna keep this. No, I mean, like, the idea here is a huge collaboration.
But they also depend on us for business because we're referring, because we know they're trusted providers. So we're referring people to them, so they want to make sure we're top of our game as well.
That's for sure, and they're also giving us free training too, which is great. Like every time they have a training that is either taking place in somewhere or virtually. They share that with us. We can, learn. And if for any reason we weren't there, we can, if one of our agents was there, can share that knowledge with all of us in one of our meetings, have the link. We also have sort of like a, how you call it, like university or
the academy?
Where, the academy. It's sort of like a,
well, we have a team hub where like all of our trainings are recorded and put on there, so you can go in there on demand. And also, Real Broker has a massive one online as well. It's just like if you want to learn, like, there's no better place to be than a team, right? So I guess we can go to the next slide here. And we have a lot of fun too, right? So we do some fun things. We're going to the Mallards game in a week or so, and like the team is paying for all the agents, all you can eat, all you can drink. We have an annual team trip to Mexico for our top producers. That was a blast, or is a blast. All expenses paid and everything. And when you hit a certain number of deals, you even bring a +1. So that's a lot of fun. A lot of pictures from that there. So you got the world-class training, the mentorship. We have 135,000 client opportunities in our database. So these are leads in there that you can go in and see what their activity is and see how much they're interacting and set appointments for yourself. You're instantly given 100 leads assigned to you. So like all the automation is coming from you to them. Accountability. Let's talk about accountability. What kind of accountability do you have? And I know that's what a lot of agents crave. Actually, Eric, our top producer right now, that was his number one reason for joining the team.
Right.
He was like, I need someone to keep me on track and keep me moving in the right direction.
Right. So one of the things that I love about the team is that we have a one-on-one every month, right? Where we meet with Dan, and the one-on-one is just essentially, keeping everyone like if let's say like, oh, those are my goals. We just want to make sure that all right. So we're keeping things on track. We're not getting off of the track of the road, and if for any reason get out of the road, we can come back and again recommit, right? And that's the way that having that accountability with the team is huge, because not only with them, but let's say I want to do it with Eric. Hey Eric, I want you to got me accountable. I want to do this, and if I don't do it, just let me know. Right. Yeah,
we've had agents say like, call me at 7 a.m. We'll do role playing or whatever time. And it's like you hold each other accountable. My favorite team meeting we have is on Fridays. The accountability meeting. And the reason that's my favorite is because of all the learning that happens. So we go through, each agent says what their biggest win was of the week. And then I ask them digging questions like, well, where did that person come from? How did you get them from point A to point B? What was the challenge that you overcame? There's so much learning, and all of the agents do this. So everyone is there, top agents, brand new agents, and you are learning so much. It's like hyperspeed for your real estate career for sure. And it's a cultural thing, right? So either you're a fit or you're not. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What else we have? Also, like our systems like Sisu helps hold you accountable, right?
Right.
So you can see like your percentages of conversion and everything.
But what is Sisu for people that are watching?
Sisu is it's another platform we pay for that reads everything that's going on in our database and makes your business predictable down to the numbers. Like, exactly, like you want to make $100,000 based on team conversion numbers. Here's how many closings you need to have. Here's how many accepted offers. Here's how many contracts signed, all the way back to the number of calls you need to make. So it makes your business super predictable. And then it learns, it's self-learning. So it's learning from your own data. So it has a calculator. And after the first year, we can literally go in and say, okay, how much do you want to make this year?
Right.
And what percentage of your business is buyers or sellers? And it'll tell you exactly based on your conversion rates from point A to point B to point C, how many conversations you need to have in order to achieve that for your family, which I think that's something that's scary for a lot of people going to real estate. Is like, I don't know, like it feels unpredictable, right? So if we can put predictability around this, it takes away the anxiety, right?
Yeah, that's huge. Like having that predictability, it's having that, okay, if I want to get there, at least this is a guidance where, if you think about it, like, okay, where do I gonna find that as a solo agent where I don't know what's gonna be my business like for a year from now, because you don't have specific goals in mind. How you keeping track of those goals every month? You know how many people you need to get in contact to be able to at least get there, right? And that's what Sisu does. And
then at that accountability meeting, we also report out. Every agent reports out their numbers for the week. There's a lot of bell ringing going on. We have a bell back there.
Yeah, campana.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I think we actually have. So if we go to the next slide. Oh, yeah, 15 minutes left. Thanks, Tony. So these are just some of the reviews, and when you have those strong reviews, you have this strong reputation that comes with it. Like the instant you join the team, like that reputation is attached to you, and you're representing that brand, and has that positive influence on people who are meeting with you.
Yeah.
Now we have all of our client meetings in here. The first time we meet with them, and they come in and they see the environment, they see people are focused. They're not just doing this part-time. They see the Best of Madison Awards, Best of McFarland, all those things. They know and they trust right up front. Okay, I'm working with someone that's going to be good and dedicated to my success, right?
Well, you probably do this a lot, right? When you're gonna buy something or you're going to go to a place, a restaurant, you look for reviews, right?
Right.
And that's one thing that we have. We have 5 stars all across the board. Facebook, Google, Zillow, you name it. And most people do that nowadays. Most people, when they're going to hire a real estate agent, they go into Google, look at reviews and all that, and they say that it's definitely a good name, their good reputation. So that's another aspect of being with a team that already has all that built up for you.
I definitely remember that as a new agent. I was like, well, when they ask me how many homes have I sold, what do I say? Because I haven't sold any,
That was one of my biggest fear actually when I started. And I remember I was at the very beginning, and I called you. I remember, and I had it was limiting belief, but also like, oh, he's asking me how many homes I have sold, and I struggled with that for a little bit, and then I called Dan, and Dan was like, well, wait. You don't have to say how many homes you sold. That's just
sold 300.
We sold 300 homes last year. That's it.
Yeah.
And I was okay.
And you can count on that you have that expert mentor
right
there guiding you through the process. So it's like the client isn't just getting you, they're also getting one of the top agents in the MLS who is helping with all of your contracts and the process and everything to ensure success for the client. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. That was really helpful.
All right. So now, what would you say? Because you make more than 100,000, and we have several agents that do. I know we've had agents on the team that made over 600,000. We have several right now that are making over 300,000 a year. What would you say it takes to make more than 100,000? In your opinion?
In my opinion, first that you want it. Right. And second, I will say that you want to dedicate the time. You want to make it happen. Right. Because it's not like it's like when I was in car sales, for instance, the people were coming to the store. Right. And in here, you're going to hustle. You're going to, not only, follow up, you want to make it make it happen. It's not like everything is going to follow from the sky, right? We want to put you work too, right? Yeah. And if you have that mentality of go-getter, follow up, be there, answer the phone, you're probably gonna make it. I
guarantee it. Yeah, that's the thing. I was telling the agents that were here shadowing today, like, if you show up, there's no reason for you to fail.
Right.
Like, I guarantee you will make $100,000 your first year if you just follow what we coach you to do.
Right.
But you have to show up.
I have to show up.
We can't pull you out of bed to do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm absolutely committed to that, and I will do anything to help our agents succeed their life goals. And we've changed a lot of lives. And we're running out of time, but we have a video, I think, from Eric. I haven't watched this at all. So Eric's our top producer right now. He's sold over 80 million. Last year he had 43 closings, netted 167,000. This year, we're only halfway through the year. He's already at 37 transactions and netted almost 200,000 so far. So he's going to have a fantastic year. Just celebrated his 5th anniversary. I haven't watched this. We asked him to say what he thinks it takes to succeed. So let's see if this works here. So you go play video.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining the latest day in the life of a realtor online seminar with Dan. I'm Eric. I've been on the team since spring of 2018. I just wanted to share with you a few different things. I think the message that I'm looking to get across is how to make $100,000 as a realtor, which that's a goal of a lot of people who are looking to get into the industry. I was reflecting on this earlier, and I think the 3 things that I would want to cover would be your mindset, your training, and then your effort. And so the first thing that I would touch on is mindset. So prior to being in the real estate world, I was always somebody who had a traditional, W-2 employee job where I had an hourly wage or a salary, and I was really married to that idea of having that. And the job that I had prior to this, a lot of people would have considered a really good job. It was in the public sector. I worked with great people, and it paid like $48,000 a year or something like that. And I was married to that guaranteed paycheck that was coming every 2 weeks or every month or whatever it was. And so I think what I would do is I would encourage you to bet on yourself, and that's the mindset shift, right? The ability to get yourself to take risk and to bet on yourself, because this line of work, you don't get a paycheck every 2 weeks. You get a paycheck for every closing, and oftentimes, your closings are inconsistent. You could have 1 closing a month. You could have 12 closings in a month. It just really depends on how you're doing. So, but ultimately, the really good thing is that you're going to get out of this job what you put into it. So if you're working your butt off, if you're working hard, if you're making calls, if you're going out of your way to provide value to your clients, and you're really just working hard, chances are the money that you make, whether it's a $48,000 a year job like I had, or you're making 50 or 60 or whatever the number is, you're probably going to make more if you put the work in. So that's the mindset. It's willing to bet on yourself, even though it's scary. And I know it's scary. I was afraid to do it. But then once I did, it was a very freeing feeling to be able to again, bet on myself, roll the dice, take the leap, whatever cliche you want to use. It felt good to do that. It felt freeing. And then obviously the results have been very good the last several years. So mindset would be the first thing. The second thing that I think is really important is training. I was having this conversation with my mom this morning, actually, about a relative of mine who's considering getting in the real estate world, and I was really positive about that. And she said, "Well, Eric, you have the personality to be successful with that job." And I said, "Personality matters, but training matters a lot." I got really, really awesome training when I joined the team. I was licensed for about 6 months prior to joining the team, and I learned a few things, but I didn't really know what I was doing until I joined the team, and I started getting hands-on training by Dan and the other agents some of the agents are still on the team, Wade and Apollo and some of those guys. And that training really kind of propelled me, to be able to have success. So having training, whether it's, learning how to be a better salesperson, learning how to be, a better realtor, providing value to clients, that stuff, it takes a tremendous amount of buy-in, right? Like you hear these scripts that you learn to become a better salesperson, and you think, geez, these scripts are so strange, or at least I thought they were strange. And once I bought in, I found myself having a lot of success. So, having good training is super important. If you're looking to get licensed, find someplace that has great training. I know I got great training here with Dan Shin Homes. The last thing that I would talk about, as far as attributes that you have to have, I touched on it a little bit earlier, but effort. I mean, you're going to get out of this job what you put into it. I think a lot of people who get into the industry think like, oh, well, I really love the idea of having a lot of money and a really flexible schedule. And you will have those opportunities in this industry. But the other side of that coin is sometimes you've got to work when you don't want to work. It's not fun all the time to work on a weekend, which you don't work all the time. Like I don't work every weekend, but sometimes you get a phone call and you've got to bolt out on a weekend when maybe you don't want to, but you do it because you want to make it and you want to be successful. And so I would say, again, getting out of it what you put into it. The people who are typically successful are the people who are willing to do the prospecting. They're willing to make the phone calls, to connect with the right people, to convert the right people into appointments, and then convert those appointments into signing clients, and then taking those clients out on showings and getting them accepted offers, and then closings, which obviously equals a paycheck. So really, once you change the mindset to betting on yourself and taking that leap and getting licensed and entering the world of real estate, then you find somebody who's going to train you well, or a team who's going to train you well, like we have here at Dan Shin Homes. And then after that, it's really up to you to have the work ethic to do the work. Because again, it doesn't happen by accident. You've got to put in a ton of effort, and then you've also got to provide value to your clients. You've got to have awesome customer service. There are a number of things that you need to do to be successful. But ultimately, the attitude, the training, and the effort that you put in are going to dictate, how everything pans out for you. So I hope this is helpful. Good luck to everybody, and thanks for tuning in.
So I am very proud to be in business with you, with guys like Eric. It's Eric's birthday tonight. That's why he recorded that for us. Happy birthday, buddy. Love that guy. Genuine person, good heart. And he too is dedicated to the success of our agents. Eric, Wade, top agents in the MLS, they're mentors for the agents that join our team. And we're very lucky to be in business with them. And our agents say that all the time too. So we're putting up this thing. If you want to learn more about joining the team, you can go on our website. You can apply on there. It'll do an assessment, and we'll talk you through the assessment and what the results are, and talk to you about what it's like to be an agent and get started. But that's a great first start. We also have links where you can sign up for the real estate course at a discounted rate. But yeah, take the plunge. If it's right for you, I guarantee it. You come here and you follow the guidance, you'll be making $100,000 in a year, if not more. As long as you show up and you do what you say you're going to do. That's huge, right?
Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope that you learn a lot, and we'd love to hear more from you.
Awesome. If you have any questions, it's going to cut us off in 40 seconds. So if there's any questions, now's your opportunity. And there's a 15-second delay too, unfortunately. But feel free to email me. Fastest way is actually email clientcare@danchinhomes.com. And then our client care team can get your questions or we can set up a time to talk. My direct email is dan@danchinhomes.com.